What up, y'all? This another edition of Quarantine Spectator Sporting. We talking more NFL draft. Now we talking about the Bears division, the NFC North. And if you know we talking Bears, we talking football, we got none other than my main man, Coach Floyd, a.k.a. Marcus Floyd in the building. What's happening, Marcus?
What's up? How y'all fellas doing today, man?
Man, we doing good, man. Adi, what's happening with you, bro?
Oh, man, I'm glad to be here.
Yes, another quarantine edition. I hope everybody out there is staying safe and stay positive. As hard as it may be, stay positive. Let's get to it. So we talking about the NFC North. The NFC North was a crazy division last year. 2 playoff teams. One was not the Bears. 2018, the Bears won the division. And then 2019, the Packers took over the division right back, went 13-3. Aaron Rodgers led them to the NFC Championship game. They got blew out by the 49ers, but they still went to the NFC Championship game. The Vikings were really good last year as well, too, winning a shocking game against the Saints in the playoffs. And then the Vikings did some things in the offseason to really make it difficult on the division. So, Coach Floyd, Marcus Floyd, I want to talk. Let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings. What's your thoughts on the Vikings draft this year?
Well, first off, I feel Minnesota had one of the, not just the best draft in the NFC North, I think they had one of the better drafts in the whole NFL. I really like, first of all, when you got 15 picks, you got some advantages. And Buffalo, thanks to Buffalo, that they had a number of draft picks. And they went right away to fill that need or fill that void for Stephon Diggs. They went number 22. They took Justin Jefferson out of LSU. Speed receiver, go over the top. I don't know if he's going to fill that Stephon Diggs role, but I think he's in a very deep wide receiver draft. I think he was one of the better ones. I can't complain about taking that pick at 22. Then another pick they had in first round was Jeff Gladney. Now, here's the thing. Jeff Gladney was the cornerback pick before our Chicago Bears. I think he was at 43, Jaylon Johnson. Right. I'm going to trust Zimmer to choose defensive backs over Ryan Pace and Nagy. So that's what I'm going to say. I know the picks, the highlights we getting for Jaylon Johnson, I'm going to trust that people are thinking Gladney is better than Jaylon Johnson. Then I like they went the third pick. They went Ezra Cleveland, a left tackle. I don't know if he's going to start right away, but I could see him really filling in. Riley Reif is in his last year of his contract. So Riley Reif, by the end of the year, I could easily see them saying, bye-bye, we got our left tackle for the future. And they went right back to the SEC and got Cam Dantzler, another cornerback. As we remember, they cut Trey Wayne signed with Cincinnati, and they cut Xavier Rhodes. So I wouldn't be shocked if they started 2 corners game one, if they started 2 rookie corners. Another reason I really like this draft, because you got so many picks, you could take some gambles. And they took a gamble on a specialist out of Miami, the U, a speed guy. His name is KJ Osborne. KJ Osborne. His route running was bad. They said a lot of things he didn't have as a receiver, but here's what they're comparing him to: Devin Hester, the return punts. Wow. So if they could get him to return punts and return kickoffs, that's all. I think this draft is amazing. They also went in the 4th round. They had, like I said, they had a lot of picks. The 4th round, they took James Lynch, a D tackle out of Baylor. This is something that was kind of amazing to me. I was looking at this draft. He was a Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, which we know in the Big 12, they don't play a lot of defense. But he also was an All-American, unanimous All-American in the 4th round. So I wanted to know, how do you get a Defensive Player of the Year All-American in the 4th round? He's just no athleticism at all. At the combine, he stunk it up. But on every level, he has performed. So do we go by his numbers in the combine, or could he play? I started looking up Terrell Suggs. He dropped in the draft because his combine stunk it up. But here's the thing. If he could be half of a player, His production was there, but he had no athleticism. And the last thing I want to talk about is they took a flyer, the quarterback out of Iowa, Nate Stanley. It's just a project. I mean, if they get anything from it, they get anything. I don't see him taking Kirk Cousins' job, but if he's a backup for 3 years, it's still a win. I really like what they did. They didn't go for any home runs. They went safe. They filled some needs. I think Minnesota had one of the better drafts in the NFL.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Absolutely, Coach. They definitely did. They took advantage of that Stephon Diggs trade. They definitely took advantage of that and really came up. And they didn't. They was talking trade. Vikings was talking trade for picks. I was hoping they was as a Bears fan, but they didn't. So I think they hit a home run. Adi, what's your thoughts on that Vikings draft?
Well, I'm looking at their second-round offensive tackle, Ezra Cleveland. He did have a foot injury last year, and that could be why he had some trouble with some edge rushers that had a nice burst at the snap. Now, if you remember last year in the playoffs, the Vikings had some major problems with their pass protection against the Saints and the 49ers. They gave up 9 sacks. So Ezra Cleveland, he's in a division where you got Zadarius and Preston Smith over there with the Green Bay Packers. Those guys combined for over 20 sacks. You got Khalil Mack and you have Robert Quinn. There's no hiding, even if you're on the left side or the right side at the tackle position. They got Brian O'Neill starting right tackle for the Minnesota Vikings there. I don't think they're happy with him, and that's why they went off as a tackle in the second round. So I don't really think he's going to contribute that much as a rookie going against those top-notch edge rushers, and that's a major problem with the Vikings.
Yeah. That offensive line was a problem. That's one of the reasons why the Vikings struggle so much with the Bears. Like, if you look at the last couple of years, they've really struggled with the Bears because the Bears were able to always get pressure on Kirk Cousins. So that definitely was a position of need. But I love the wide receiver pick of Jefferson from LSU. I think he's going to be a star. I'm not going to lie. He's got the speed. I really think he's going to be a star. But we shall see, because right now, on paper, that look like a great draft, and they look like they are set up for the future for a long time. And so I would just say Detroit, Green Bay, and Chicago, look out, because if the paper translates to the field, the Vikings is going to be a problem. There's no question about it. Let's move on to the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions had a number 3 pick. They were 3-13 last year. They haven't been good. Matthew Stafford's been getting hurt. Matt Patricia, who took over the job, they expected more out of him, and they have not gotten the results that they thought Matt Patricia would bring to them. So they it was time. They got rid of some players this year. So Adi, tell me about the Detroit Lions. How do you think of their draft, and will that draft help them become a better team in the NFC finally?
Well, you know what? The Detroit Lions, they're in the process of giving up on their 2018 second-round running back, Kerryon Johnson, who went to Auburn. He was a star at Auburn, and he was number 2 in the NFL in yards per carry his rookie year, but he's been having knee problems. He's missed 14 games the last two years. So that's why Detroit went ahead and selected running back DeAndre Swift from Georgia in the second round. This guy is extremely good with vision. When he gets the ball, his vision is extremely good, and also his acceleration and patience. So, and he can make some big plays for the Detroit Lions. And he's a great receiver out of the backfield. He's an all-purpose back, just like Alvin Kamara with the New Orleans Saints, all right? So now with the 3rd overall pick, they picked Jeff Okudah. Jeff Okudah, cornerback from the Ohio State Buckeyes. The guy, he's going to get tested real quick, going against Adam Thielen, going against Allen Robinson. And we talked about the Vikings. They just took the LSU guy, Justin Jefferson. They just took him. So he's going to be tested.
Don't forget about Devontae Adams.
Yeah, Devontae Adams. He's going to because they know that Darius Slay ain't there to help him out. They traded him away. So, but Jeff Okudah is big. He's 6'1", 200 pounds, very quick, and he loves to hit people, all right? And so in the 3rd round of the draft, they went ahead. Now, the Detroit Lions been doing a lot of work, spending a lot of resources on enhancing their outside linebacker position. They signed the expatriate Jamie Collins, and they just drafted the 6'4" athletic Julian Okwara from Notre Dame. This guy is excellent with the blitz packages. He got a lot of sacks with Notre Dame, but he did break his leg in November. He's rehabbing for that. I think he'll be all right. He's getting back healthy from that leg injury. So also the Detroit Lions got another third-round pick from the Eagles because of that Darius Slay trade, and they went ahead and took an offensive guard, Jonah Jackson from Ohio State. His mission is to replace Graham Glasgow at offensive guard. He signed with the Denver Broncos this offseason, $44 million. He has a tall task. He needs to get strong. He needs to get big. His strength, that's what his knock coming out of college. And this wasn't a deep offensive guard draft either. So, and he was ranked at number 7 in a non-deep offensive guard draft. So he needs to get better. But that's the only pick that I think was questionable. They had 6 other picks in the draft. This season, will the Lions rise from the bottom of the division? I don't think so, but I do like the draft. I think it's solid. All these picks made sense. But Matt Patricia's job, I don't think they're going to be able to save his job this season, because if they finish last place, Detroit's not going to have patience with that. I think they're going to fire them.
Yeah, the NFC North is really tough. I mean, every team got better. I mean, we talk about our own. As bad as we was last year, the Bears were 8-8, and we talk about them, but they got a lot better in the offseason. And, of course, we just talked about Minnesota. I do like Jeff Okudah, though. I think he's going to be a star. I seen him. I watched him in the champion BCS, and I watched him go up against those Clemson receivers, and, boy, did he put in work in them games. I know they lost that game, but you talk about top-flight receivers at Clemson, he did his job. Marcus, you got anything you want to say about the Lions draft?
No, I like it. Like I said, that kid, that was a no-brainer at number 3. I think they said he had some of the highest measurables. I do think it was amazing that the number 1, 2, and 3 pick were all teammates at one point. That's
crazy. That's crazy.
Recruiting that goes on in college. Adi hit it on the head. He went really in depth. I like what he said.
Yeah, absolutely. The Lions, yeah, we'll see. They definitely made the right picks. They have some good picks. We'll see. The NFC North is tough. And now we're going to talk about the division champs, the Green Bay Packers. So I know where everybody want to go with this, but let's just go. I'm going to talk about everything else first. The pick I do love that they got was A.J. Dillon, the running back from Boston College. 4,382 total yards, 38 touchdowns in 3 seasons. He's a bruiser. And he's also a good pick because Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams will be free agents after this season. And we know the Packers are really not trying to give big contracts to one of those running backs, even though Aaron Jones had 17 touchdowns last year. He was the reason I won fantasy. But that's a different story. Also, the pick of Josiah DeGuara. I hope I said that right. If I said it wrong, I'm sorry. The tight end from Cincinnati. Very solid player. They worried about his size, but he is athletic. He has speed. He has good hands. And last year, he had 7 touchdowns and 39 receptions. So pretty good for a tight end in college football. I also like to pick it from the guard from Michigan. John Rooney is a very solid guard. I think he will be able to make the team and help them out because the Packers do have some need at offensive line, no question. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Wow. Now we was all watching the quarantine draft, and I did not expect the Green Bay Packers to trade up to take a quarterback. As a Bears fan, I was nervous because as we've been saying this whole time, this is such a deep wide receiver class, and I was afraid that the Green Bay Packers was going to get one of those good young wide receivers to team up with Devontae Adams, but they went quarterback with Jordan Love. This was unbelievable. I was not expecting this. I get the move in a sense because Aaron Rodgers is 37 years old. He's under contract. They figured this is Brett Favre all over again. This is Brett Favre when they drafted Aaron Rodgers and had him sit behind Brett Favre 3 years, and they had this Aaron Parrott. Now, Jordan Love measurables don't match up to what Aaron Rodgers did at the time. But 2018, he did have a really good season, 32 touchdowns, 6 picks. But last year, he took a big-time step back, 17 INTs. He turned the ball over at a very alarming rate, so that's a little worrisome. But he does have a big arm. He can get the ball in tight windows. Sometimes he has a tendency to stare down receivers, but of course he's not going to start this year. But it's very interesting how this is going to work out. I don't know how Aaron Rodgers is feeling about this, but it's very interesting to see how Jordan Love handles the pressure of having to back up Aaron Rodgers, because in training camp, the question is all going to come. How's Aaron Rodgers treating you? Is he mentoring you? Now, we all think, maybe I'm by myself. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to mentor this guy. Aaron Rodgers is not going to mentor the guy to take his job. Aaron Rodgers is too competitive for that, but maybe I'm wrong. So I think overall the Packers had some solid players, but I think out of all the NFC North teams, they probably had the worst draft of all the NFC North teams. Anybody want to chime in on that?
Well, yeah.
Go ahead, Adi.
Yeah. I would just say, man, that the Green Bay Packers, I'm not going to hate on Jordan Love, because ever since I've been watching football, the Green Bay Packers had a Hall of Fame quarterback. So this guy, in the year 2025, he's probably going to be the MVP of the NFL. You know what I mean? But the thing is, he can't help them in 2020. That's the bottom line. He can't help them next season. And I just can't believe the Green Bay Packers, they passed on a 6'4", 215-pound wide receiver from Clemson, T. Higgins. That guy's really nice. He's on to Cincinnati. And they passed up on one of my favorite wide receivers in this draft from USC, Michael Pittman Jr. That guy is a great route runner. He has very reliable hands, and he would have been a nice complementary player to Devontae Adams over there in Green Bay. And so I'm just saying, you know what? I think when you look at those receivers, Green Bay Packer fans was pissed off. They wanted Denzel Mims. There was so many receivers out there. I'm just shocked they didn't get one.
Yeah, I'm not knocking Jordan Love, because he could turn out to be a good quarterback. But like you say, Adi, that's my point. Like the Green Bay Packers was in the NFC Championship game last year. They were one game away from getting to the Super Bowl. And I just thought they were going to go after it because they felt and try to win the thing. And I thought they was going to go wide receiver and really help Aaron Rodgers, but it looked like they want to replace Aaron Rodgers. I mean, there's been reports that, I don't know how true it is, that Matt LaFleur doesn't really like Aaron Rodgers and it doesn't want to put up with him no more. And plus, he's a new coach. He might want his own guy. I don't know what it is, but they definitely are trying. They're definitely looking. This was a future pick. This was a future pick. Marcus, any comments on this?
You guys hit it on it. I'll say the same thing. Is the Jordan Love not too bad on that pick? I mean, it's a smart pick or whatever. If somebody could sit behind a Hall of Fame quarterback for 2 or 3 years, you have the young mastermind of Matt LaFleur who's training him or whatever. I could agree with Adi. I think we're going to look back in 4 years and say, hey, we laughed at their draft, but they're still rolling. Now, I don't understand, and both of you guys have hit it, why not get a receiver? Why not get him help? There was some receivers that they passed up on, even in the late rounds, that is just mind-boggling. And I would love to know, how does Aaron Rodgers feel about that? I seen a stat the other day that said, during his career, he has only thrown 1 touchdown to a first-round receiver. So since he's been there, how much help have you guys tried to get this man? Now, don't get me wrong, he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And let's not forget, they got smashed, but he was 1 game away from the Super Bowl. So let's not forget that. But I think he would want some help. He would just imagine if he had some more weapons or whatever to go alongside with Adams. But we all agreed on the same thing. Like, why not just throw a rock at a receiver and see if they pan out?
Yeah, but A.J. Dillon, though, that dude's a beast, man.
I like that pick. I love that pick.
That dude look like the Black Hawk, man. At Boston College, man, he just running people over, throwing people out the way. That guy is strong, big, and powerful.
Yeah, I love that's my favorite pick they did in that whole draft, because especially with Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones both becoming free agents, and being in Green Bay where it's cold outside, he can pound the rock and wear defenses down. So I love that pick for the Packers right there. And I like the tight end pick, and I like the John Runyon pick. I didn't like the Kamal Martin pick out of Minnesota. I mean, we'll see how that goes down. But yeah, the Packers very interested to see. Now we might be talking this about the Packers, but they might be right back in the NFC Championship game. So, but yeah, they definitely this definitely draft seemed like for a future. So let's talk, Marcus. Let's talk about our own Chicago Bears. They made some picks. They didn't have no first round picks but they had 2 second rounds, and me and Adi debated it on the last show. How much you willing to bet Ryan Pace can't help himself and he's going to trade up in the draft? And he did it twice. So, Marcus, what's your thoughts on the Bears draft this year?
So, first thing, I was pleased that Ryan Pace, like you said, didn't do anything too crazy. He gave up a 4th rounder for next year. You know, he like Russian roulette or whatever with draft picks. He like just throwing them up in the air. So that was the first thing I was happy with. He didn't do anything too crazy. Then I look at they went with Cole Kmet. Okay, safe pick, big school. He didn't go to these small schools and try to make something out of nothing. It was a safe pick. But I really heard him talk about the Jaylon Johnson pick. And my question, if I could ask him a question, is if you were so high on Jaylon Johnson, why didn't you take him at 43? So that was kind of baffling or whatever. I did some research on Jaylon Johnson. See nothing but good things. They say his injury is he's all cleared up. I think it was his shoulder or whatever. So he's gonna be fine. I want to say it's the safe pick. I'm glad Ryan Pace went with the safe pick, but it's like I don't trust Ryan Pace when it comes to evaluating offensive talent. Defensive talent, I think he's done a great job over the years, but offensive talent, he needs some help in that area. If this Cole Kmet kid, if he starts 10 games, I think that's a win because we got nothing but practice player tight ends on our team. If we could get Jimmy Graham and him out there at the same time, that's going to help out Foles or Mitch. You know what I mean? I think them 2 big targets will help out the offense if they come around. Like I said, he was the best tight end on the board. I'm just skeptical about Ryan Pace and his draft. The kid Gibson, I'm hearing high things about him. They say that was a steal at that round or whatever. Once again, Ryan Pace has done a phenomenal job of drafting, getting defensive line talent. So that's one of his strong points. That's what I have. But like I said, I was more happy Ryan Pace left with only 1 draft pick. He gave away 1 draft pick because over the years he's just been throwing his draft picks around.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought the same. I said it on the last time I spoke. I said I can't believe Cole Kmet. There's no disrespect to him. He's a good tight end. He had a good season last year and he showed out. But I thought if it was about the best player available at that time, I don't think he was the best available player at number 43. So and like you made a good point. They could have picked Jaylon Johnson. They could have probably got Cole Kmet at number 50. You know, if it was that deep. Adi, anything about what Marcus said you want to comment on?
Well, yeah, you know, Cole Kmet, I was sitting there at the draft when the Bears were about to pick, and I just knew they was going to go with him because Trey Burton, if you know, like a few days before the draft, they cut Trey Burton. And that was a giveaway. That was a giveaway that if he failed, because I saw a mock draft that had Cole Kmet going to the Packers because, you know, they tight end situation was they had a big hole there, losing Jimmy Graham and everything. That's why he took that 3rd round, Josiah in the 3rd round of their draft. But I was like, they gonna take him because they cut Trey Burton. Because they're not gonna risk somebody taking him. Because think about it, if someone took Cole Kmet after 43, this was not a deep tight end draft. He was pretty much the only good tight end rated in the draft. So I knew they was gonna go ahead and go with Cole Kmet, man. So hopefully he finally shores up the tight end position. You know, like I was telling Roach last week, we had Martellus Bennett. He had a few good years with us. Zach Miller broke his leg. You know, Trey Burton didn't work out. So hopefully Cole Kmet and Jimmy Graham is a nice duo.
So I've seen a lot of draft boards and I've seen a lot of criticisms about the 2 picks after was Del Pitt from LSU and Antoine Winfield Jr. People saying, oh, they took Kmet and everything. But I want to say I watched both of those safeties. Those safeties are free safeties, kind of. So I didn't disagree. I didn't think they should have took one of those safeties because they need a true, strong, hard-hitting, strong safety to let Eddie Jackson freelance. But I don't think, even though those were very talented players, but I don't think they would have fit in with the Bears. That's one of the reasons they got rid of Ha-Ha Clem Dix.
True.
So, and another nugget today, the Bears signed Ted Ginn Jr. So just to throw that out there. So
I did see that.
Yeah, they did sign Ted Ginn Jr. today. So they want to add, it seemed like they was looking for speed at the wide receiver. So overall, Are you okay with the Bears draft, Marcus?
Overall, I'm okay with it. It was a solid, safe draft. Like I said, I was more happy that Ryan Pace didn't go do anything crazy. He was a normal. I think he's fitting into his role, not trying to show he's the smartest man in the room. So that was I was cool with that. Like I said, it's just the Kmet, Jaylon Johnson. They were and Gibson. They both all graded out as higher than what they were selected. So I was really safe. The Bears did get better. They got better, and that's all what counts.
Yeah, I definitely think they got better. And that second round, this is one of the deeper drafts I've seen in a long time. It seems like that second round was damn near like a first round draft. So it was I think they did good. So you've been watching Spectator Sporting, with another quarantine edition. Hopefully we can get outside soon, but in the meantime, we still gonna keep doing the quarantine, still supplying information. We want to thank Marcus Floyd, aka Coach Floyd, for being on the show today, talking NFC draft picks with us today. And shout out Adi. Good show today. A lot of fun today. Until next time. In the meantime, in between time, we out. Peace.
If we traded up for Love, I'm gonna be so mad. I can't even.
With the 26th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Jordan Love, quarterback, Utah State.